Just in 1 minute we will start, sir.
Yeah, sure, sir. No.
DTR sir, you are there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm there.
Okay, sir.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, a warm good evening to all of you. Myself, Raghavendra, convener of this FDP program from Indian Institute of Management and Commerce, Hyderabad. So I'm so happy to welcome you all for this 2 days FDP program on plagiarism in academic research and author identifiers. So as we all are aware that research is one of the important activities of our faculty members and nowadays, and it is not doing research only, but also we have to do a quality research, because research always coupled with quality, then only it can be called as a research. Quality comes only when we undertake the research on our own, with our own thoughts. So plagiarism is the keyword nowadays which has been coined in many areas of the research, because research has to be done on so much of quality and with only of our innovative thoughts. So we thought that this particular FDP will be surely helpful to most of the research scholars and also the professors to deal with the plagiarism and how to reduce and how to minimize this plagiarism whenever we are doing the research work, maybe research paper or PhD thesis and all. In this regard, we have planned this 2-day FDP. So I'm thankful to Mrs. Ramadevi Madam, our lecturer in librarian sciences of our college, who has come up with this kind of thought. And with these words, let me welcome all of you here, and let me call upon our Vice Principal Academics, Dr. D. Tirumurrao Garu, to address the gathering with a keynote address. Sir, please, sir.
Good evening, one and all. Thank you very much, sir. An FDP on plagiarism will definitely help the research scholars, because today many of the academicians are going with research work. Research has become part and parcel of our curriculum. And definitely to enhance our skill and also to upgrade our qualification and to sustain in the profession, teaching profession, in the academics, we require research. So research is not just merely collecting the data, analyzing them, and coming to a conclusion. It requires some ethics to be followed. When you refer to some articles, journals, you have to authenticate the author's name, and otherwise that becomes a part of plagiarism. And today, right from the PG level to PhD level, plagiarism is playing a vital role in research, because most of the times it has become a very easy task to copy and paste the information wherever required, either in the articles or in the project works. So to check up this and also to give a qualitative and authenticated work, definitely every research scholar should take care of the plagiarism, what is in his article. Nowadays, many of the articles what we want to publish, they are first of all checking with the plagiarism how much content it contains, whether it is 30%, 40%. Suppose when you want to publish an article, definitely it should be less than 10%. The concerned journal authorities will immediately ask the author to check the plagiarism and send back with less content in it regarding plagiarism. So for that, definitely I ensure that this particular FDP will help all the research scholars, teachers, faculty at all levels to know to what extent plagiarism is playing its vital role in research. And I thank the management principal and FDP convener for providing me this opportunity. All the best to all the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible to all of you? Ramadevi madam, am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Thank you so much, madam. Now, today we have, for these 2 days, to impart this knowledge on plagiarism. Today we have with us one eminent resource person, Mr. R. Gautam. So about this resource person, I request our lecturer in library sciences, Mrs. Ramadevi madam, to give some kind of introduction about this resource person. Madam, please, madam.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to introduce today's research person. Our resource person today, Mr. Gautam, researcher in taxation, accounting and finance, record holder in India Bank of Records. Mr. R. Gautam, a youthful and energetic researcher, is presently pursuing his doctorate of philosophy at the Department of Commerce, College of Science and Humanities, SRN, Institute of Science and Technology, Kattanpulatur, Chengalpattu District, Tamil Nadu, India. His scientific interests are influenced by his involvement in a variety of research and development initiatives. At the age of 26, he has published over 30 high-quality research articles in prestigious publications and presented research papers at national and international conferences. He has received numerous awards, including the International Institute of Organized Researchers Young Researcher Award, for his outstanding contributions to the field of finance, and it should be noted that at the age of 25, he holds a national record in the India Books of Records category, maximum research papers written and published by an individual. His work has also been recognized with Best Paper Award at many national and international conferences organized by a variety of renowned Indian institutions. His investigate attitude has also garnered a worldwide audience. He has been resource speaker in institutional conferences held at Philippines, United Kingdom, Japan, and the United States of America. Mr. R. Gautam, as a developing young person, is regarded as a mentor and role model by like-minded youngsters and co-workers, and he is continuously motivating people to pursue their goals and achieve success. Thank you, sir. Over to Mr. Raghavendra, sir.
Thank you so much, madam. So, without any kind of delay, we will be going for this FDP. Before this, let me tell to all the participants some kind of general rules for this FDP and all. I request all the participants kindly mute your audio and as well as video also during this session, because it will definitely interrupt the technical flow and it may even minimize your speed of the internet data also. And whatever doubts you are having, you can just put at the end of this session. So SAR will be giving some 10 to 15 minutes of time at the end of this session to clarify all your doubts. Till that time, that kindly do not interrupt in between. This is one more thing. And third thing is that we are not having any kind of day-wise feedback. We are only having feedback on day 2, that is tomorrow. So today there is no feedback. Today is totally committed for learning the things, and tomorrow also learning the things about the author identifiers. And after learning these two, we are going to provide the feedback at the validity section. And once you fill up the feedback here, within 10 to 15 working days, you will be getting the certificate to your email ID. So do not worry about the certificate at all. Definitely we will provide to your email ID. So just thing is that these 2 days, kindly utilize this workshop exclusively for your research purpose, knowing the things about plagiarism and also the other identifiers from this resource person. Gautam sir?
Yes, sir.
Session is yours, sir.
Yeah,
Please
thanks.
proceed.
So good evening all. So happy to meet a big crowd of audience and really feeling happy and blessed to be on this platform today in this FDP, 2 days FDP on plagiarism in academic research and author identifiers. So it's a really immense pleasure and I really feel happy to meet you all here. And I also really congratulate all of you who have joined here and you have also joined through YouTube link. I know this being the Monday, the first day of the week, and despite many busy...
Excuse me, sir. Sir, it's not audible.
Is it not audible?
Sir,
Yes,
I
sir.
think
Your voice is breaking, sir.
you have to be a little bit louder.
Your
sir.
voice is very low, sir.
Your voice is breaking.
Okay, just a second. I'll just leave and come back. Let me try it out that way. Now is that okay now? Still it is slow?
The voice is very low, sir.
Okay, fine. Just this again. How is it now?
It is fine, sir.
Yeah, fine. Then no issues. Yeah. So before I start off today's session, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the Indian Institute of Management and Commerce, and especially the Department of Library Sciences for organizing this wonderful FDP. I hope once we complete these 2 days, there will be some fruitful takeaways for all the participants who have joined this program as well. So without wasting much of the time, let us start today's session where we are going to discuss some basic introduction about plagiarism, what are the different kinds of plagiarism, and then we will gradually move on to working with the Turnitin software. So just let me know. I'm just going to share my screen now, and just let me know if it is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine, that's great. Fine, so plagiarism in academic research, this is the topic given for discussion today.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, it's very low, sir. We couldn't hear anything, sir.
But I could see many people giving a feedback. It is clearly audible. Maybe because of fluctuations in the network issue. Is that a thing? Am I audible to
Yeah,
everyone?
I think you can be a little bit louder, sir, so that you can be audible to everybody.
Yeah, it's. I think we are getting it's clear.
Yes.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. So, okay, fine. Yes. So this is the topic for discussion. Plagiarism in academic research. So let's first try to understand what is an academic plagiarism. See, plagiarism, right, especially in the academic context, it's nothing but we use some ideas, we use concepts, we use some words, or not all even this, it could also be the structure, right, the style of the structure, right, we are using those things, but we are not acknowledging the true source from which the idea got generated. That is what we call it as academic plagiarism, right? We refer so many sources, we get new ideas, we get new concepts, we get some new words, right? We collect some new words, but unfortunately, what we are doing, see, this plagiarism need not always be intentional. Alright. See, the plagiarism can either be an intentional plagiarism or it could be an unintentional plagiarism. Right? Sometimes people may not be aware about this concept of plagiarism, so they think it's okay, we can take it, and that is, we call it as unintentional plagiarism. Right? Intentional plagiarism, they know what is rules, what is the regulations that is prevailing in the industry, but still they are doing this practice. That is called as an intentional plagiarism, right? So academic plagiarism is nothing but we use certain ideas, concepts, words and structures, but we do not acknowledge the source to which it really belongs. So that is what we call them as academic plagiarism. So what are the characteristics of this academic plagiarism? This we can easily derive from what we have seen in the previous slide, right? Academic plagiarism is nothing but we use certain kinds of words, concepts and theories, right? We use certain words, ideas and products. But these words, ideas or products or work or product, it is attributable to somebody else, right? It is attributable to somebody else, right? It is not our own idea, it's not our own words, it's not our own product. It is attributable to some other else person. But what is happening? It is attributable to somebody else, but we are not connecting, but we are not really giving the due credit. Right? We are not giving a due credit to that particular person or that particular source. Right? Why people do that? Because they want to have some sort of benefit. Right? They feel like if I'm going to say this is the work which I have taken from so and so works. Right? In that case, obviously, what will happen? We may not get the true benefit that we are intended to have. So in that case, right, this could create a problem. So that's what the characteristics of academic plagiarism is all about. Okay, what are the different forms in which academic plagiarism can happen? Right, what are the different forms in which academic plagiarism can happen? One, it could happen in the form of a literal plagiarism, right? It could take place in the form of a literal plagiarism, and it could also take a form of a disguised plagiarism, or it could also take a form of a self-plagiarism. So what is a literal plagiarism? What is a disguised plagiarism? What is a self-plagiarism? So these are the things that we are going to discuss furthermore. Right? So literal plagiarism, you have two kinds of things. One, you have something called as copy and paste. Another thing, you call it as shake and paste. Then in disguised plagiarism, we have something called as paraphrasing. We have technical disguise. Then we also have something called as a translated plagiarism or idea or structural plagiarism. So all these constitutes your disguised plagiarism. Now finally comes self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is a concept, right? Again, some people will feel, right? Some people might feel that it is my own idea. Sir, if I am going to copy from somebody else, that is a problem. Say for example, sir, if I am going to copy from somebody else, it is a problem. What if I am going to take the content, find my own work, right? I am not going to copy from Mr. A or Mr. B or Mr. C or Mr. D. Instead, I am going to, right? I am going to take from my own work. It is my work, sir. So I am going to take it from my own work. Why that constitute a plagiarism? See, to be very honest, when you are recognizing somebody else's work, right? When you are recognizing, right, somebody else's work, why can't you recognize your own work, right? Even though it is you are the author, it is you who have done that work, right? But still, it is some work that has been already gained, right? It is already something which has been already published. So which means, right, you should also be given the due credit. It's not like only somebody else should be given the credit when you are writing. When you take, sir, I have my own work, it has a very significant influence which could be used for further things, right? Then that could also be considered, right? That could also be taken into account, right? That could also be taken into account for the plagiarism also. So it's not like, sir, my own work I am doing, why should I copy somebody else's work, right? Why should I need to cite my own work? Both constitute plagiarism, right? Fine. Now, let's proceed further. Okay, let's discuss one by one. Like, let's try to understand what is a literal plagiarism. Literal plagiarism is something that we say every time, right? Literal plagiarism is something which we normally say. Just, I am not going to change anything. I am just going to copy and paste it, right? I am just going to copy and paste it, right? So this is called as a literal plagiarism, right? Without doing complete undue copying of text and you paste it in your research work. That is called as a literal plagiarism. So this literal plagiarism, this copy paste work can take place in two forms. One is copy and paste. Another one is shake and paste, right? Copy and paste. Another one is a shake and paste. What is copy and paste? We already know what is copy and paste. Control plus V, control plus V. That is called as copy and paste. So I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to copy everything and I'm just going to paste it over here, right? So that is what is called as a copy and paste. What is called as, right? What is called as shake and paste. Shake and paste is nothing but instead of completely undoing, right? Instead of complete copying and paste, I take few things from one paragraph, first line from first paragraph, second line from second paragraph, right? And I'm just going to write. That is called as shake and paste. So I make some adjustment, right? I make some adjustment to the study, right? I make some adjustment to the sentences and we proceed ahead with that. So that is called as a literal plagiarism. That is called as a literal plagiarism, which takes place in the form of shake and paste, right? Right. So that is called as a literal plagiarism. Then you have something called as a disguised plagiarism. What is a disguised plagiarism? Disguised plagiarism is nothing but disguised plagiarism is something which could happen, right? You do some subsume practices to conceal your unduly copied text. So this is where we do something called as paraphrasing. This is where you call something called as paraphrasing, which will happen. So now the next biggest question, right? The next biggest question is that, right? The next biggest question is that whether, how, sir, everyone today they are advocating paraphrasing and you are telling paraphrasing as a disguised one, right? As a disguised one. So when paraphrasing becomes part of a disguised plagiarism, then it forms part of, it doesn't form part of the plagiarism. See, paraphrasing is considered ethical, right? Even though you rewrite the foreign thoughts in your own words, still the idea or the concept, it is not yours, right? Still the idea or concept, it is not at all yours. Though you rewrite, but the origin, the core idea, it's not going to get changed, right? The core idea is not going to get changed, right? That is called as paraphrasing, right? So even though you do paraphrasing, it is also equally responsible for us to cite the source. You cannot say, sir, I have rewritten the thoughts which has been given in the paper, so it is mine. No, you cannot do like that. You are just rewriting, but you are giving the same idea in a rewritten format. That's it. So when you are just going to rewrite and say, this is the thing I have written, it is not somebody else's thing, then it constitutes, paraphrasing will also constitute form of a disguised plagiarism. Right? Say for example, you are rewriting the foreign thoughts in your own words. At the same time, you are acknowledging that particular source. Right? I am acknowledging that particular source. Then you call it as, right, ethical paraphrasing. That is called as ethical paraphrasing. That is allowed. When you paraphrase and you give the source, it is allowed. Good, fine. But when you do paraphrasing without acknowledging the source, then it will form constitute of a disguised plagiarism. Right? Then you have something called as a technical disguise. What is a technical disguise? Some people are quite smart, right? They work with softwares and they easily understand, right? They easily understand, right? They easily understand what are the weaknesses of the software, right? I have seen in one very long back, I see, at first I was just a budding researcher. Even now also I will say in my early career researcher. But at that time when I was checking one of the YouTube channel, they were taking how to make the plagiarism 0%. I thought really interested. I thought some way we can minimize the plagiarism. But after seeing that video, I was completely disappointed. Right? What that person was using the trick means, in between each and every words, right? In between each and every words is adding dots. In between every word, right? I dot, am dot, working dot, like that. He is doing so many things, right? He is doing so many things. And what he is trying to do, and what he was trying to do is that after putting this dot, he is changing the text color to white. And I hope we know when you change it to white color, we cannot see. Right? When you see in a Word document, when you change the text color to white, right? We cannot easily identify. Some dot is kept in between all those things. And after doing that, and he is uploading it in the plagiarism deduction software, right? He's putting it in the plagiarism deduction software. And what is happening? The plagiarism deduction software says plagiarism is nil. Plagiarism is nil. So this is what you call it as a technical disguise, right? This is what you call it as a technical disguise, right? What this person is doing, he understands the weakness of the software, right? He understands the weakness of the software, and what he is trying to do, right? He is understanding the weakness of the software and he is trying to capitalize on the weaknesses of the software, and he is doing this manipulation. This is what you call it as a technical disguise, right? You use symbols, homoglyphs, right, to appear similar objects. So this is called as a disguised plagiarism. Then you have under disguised plagiarism, the next kind of variation that you have is a translated plagiarism. What is a translated plagiarism? See, some research papers, some articles may be written in a regional language, right? Regional language like Bengali, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, Tamil, right? But unfortunately, if you see, Turnitin cannot detect a few languages. So what I am doing, I am translating the entire manuscript, say for example, which has been written, right? The entire manuscript which has been written in Tamil or Telugu or Malayalam or Hindi or Kannada, whatever language it may be, and I am translating it to English. Still, some software cannot do that. Still, they cannot detect the plagiarism. So that we call it as a translated plagiarism. You either manually convert or you automatically convert the text from one language to another with the intention of hiding its origin, right? So that is called as translated plagiarism. Then you have something called as structural and idea plagiarism. What is a structural and idea plagiarism, right? You use a broader concept, right? Say for example, I am using law of demand without acknowledging the source, right? I am using some well-versed concepts, right? I am using some well-versed concepts and I am not properly doing that. I am copying a broad concept without acknowledging the source. That is called a structural or idea plagiarism. It is based on something else, but the only thing there is nothing wrong in using the existing theory or existing idea, but you should also give proper acknowledgement to the source, right? Proper acknowledgement to the source. So that is called as a disguised plagiarism. So which is part of a structural and idea plagiarism. Then comes self-plagiarism. What is a self-plagiarism? Self-plagiarism is nothing but you partially or completely, right? You partially or completely reuse, right? Your own ideas. You have already written few ideas and you have published it in the form of a research article, right? And you feel that will form as a base for further enhancement of your research, and you feel because it is my own work, why should I cite? See, when you are recognizing somebody else's work, it is also equally important that you value your own work also, right? It is also equally important that you value your own works also, right? So that is called as a self-plagiarism. So you take some works from your own previous work, but that you do not give a proper attention to it. So that is called as a self-plagiarism. So what are the plagiarism deduction approaches that we have? What are the different kinds of plagiarism deduction approaches that we have? Right? So basically, generic plagiarism approaches, you can call them as either an external plagiarism deduction approach or an internal plagiarism deduction approach. Right? There are two kinds of things. PDS, I do not mean public distribution system. It's basically plagiarism deduction approaches. Right? Okay, what is an external plagiarism deduction system? An external plagiarism deduction system is nothing but, say for example, this is how the software works. Right? Once you send the suspicious documents to the software, it will try to compare its reference. Right? It will try to compare the suspicious document with that of reference collection which is already preloaded in that particular software. Right? So we know that particular softwares, they have the similarity criteria, similarity algorithms with which those softwares have been designed. And this comparison, this document will be compared with that of similarity criteria. Once that is done, right? Once that is done, the plagiarism deduction system, or what you call it as a plagiarism software, it will give you the passages that are considered similar, right? Provided if it is beyond the threshold, provided it is beyond the threshold. Then you have something called as an internal plagiarism deduction system, right? Which basically compares the linguistic features of the text, right? Which basically compares the linguistic features of the text, or normally what we call it as called as a stylometry, right? The answer might be, right? The answer might be, or the research question might be, right? The research question might be in the form of what to say. It could be in the form of active voice. You write it in a passive voice, right? You write it in a passive voice, right? It may be in the past tense. You write it in a future sense, future tense. So all these are stuck. So linguistically, people might manipulate it. So to detect the linguistic features of the text and whether any plagiarism is detected in that manner, right? You call that as the stylometry, or what you call it as a intrinsic plagiarism detection systems. So this is how a general plagiarism detection system works. Right? Once you begin, it will apply something called heuristic techniques, which will divide your document into different strings. Right? And it will come out with whether any potential plagiarism is detected, right? Serious issues detected, then it will show. So once a serious plagiarism is detected, obviously we know human examiner, we will look out for what to be done for reducing that. Then no, if there is no, then obviously your plagiarism detection part is over. You can proceed further with your steps. So what happens basically in this first stage, right? The plagiarism detection software basically applies, right, a small fraction of reference collection. The first stage is it compares your document with that of reference collection, right? The basic level comparison will be done. Once that is done, once that is okay, then it will go for further more expensive or a very detailed comparison. Right, it will take you to the further steps. Then that is, once that is done, right, your text processing procedures will be, your text will be divided into different segments. The software divides your plagiarism into your text into different segments to identify or eliminate false positive. False positive means it is the plagiarism deduction area, right? It is the plagiarism deduction area, right? So this is your generic plagiarism detection approach. So some of the approaches which are there, one of the ways which the plagiarism detection system works is what is a very popular thing is what is called as a fingerprinting. You can see in this diagram how the software works, how this plagiarism works. Right, for example, your entire your text document will be divided into these kinds of strings. And the first sentence, it will be assigned within this. All happens within that software. It assigns a numerical code, like first sentence, it assigns a string like 0.00. And second sentence, if it is unique, it will make this is another sentence. This will make it like this is another sentence. So that will come like 01. That will come like 01. Then comes, right? Then comes the third sentence. And if this third sentence is going to be somewhat similar to your first thing, right? Somewhat similar to the first kind of sentence, the same sentence will be again assigned the same code 00. So this is how the software detects it and it gives you the plagiarism output. Then you have something called as a stylometry, right? In stylometry, you use some statistical methods to really identify author's writing style, right? So it basically compares your existing documents from the author in question, originating from the same author, and it compares your text document with that of different authors, whereas different authors have used the same kind of writing style and this person also copied the same thing, right? This is second level of comparison. Third level of comparison, right, is comparing your text segment with different things, right, in the same document. With different things in the same document. This is called as so 3-level comparison will be happening, and once that is done only, right, they will proceed further. It will be taken up further. So that is called as a stylometry, right? So the comparison happens at the 3 different stages. Fine. So these are some of the plagiarism deduction types or approaches that we are seeing. Now, what is UGC's regulations with regard to plagiarism? UGC has very few years back, it came up with an regulations called UGC Promotion of Academic Integrity and Plagiarism in Higher Educational Institutions, Regulations 2018. This regulation was basically brought by UGC with an intention to prevent plagiarism in higher educational institutions, right? Because it feels that most of the time before that the plagiarism was happening without without the knowledge, right? Unintentional plagiarism was happening. So it wants to make the academic community aware about what is plagiarism, how it could academically impact their reputation, and what sort of consequences it can have, all those things. All right. So what is the objective behind this UGC regulations? Why this was actually brought out, right? First of all, the idea behind bringing these kinds of regulation is to create an awareness among the academic community as well as the research community about what is the proper way of conducting a research, what is their responsibility, right? What is considered as an ethical practices, to make them aware about these things. Only UGC came up with this regulation. Then, of course, promoting academic integrity. Academically, as academicians, we need to be really honest in conducting our research work successfully. So in that case also, this is a very important one. And at the same time, once you become aware, it feels academic community will reduce this intentional work, right? So, I mean, academic writing, you want to prevent the misconduct which is happening in the plagiarism work. Then to establish institutional mechanism, right? So it is not possible every time UGC can come. So it wants to take steps at the institutional levels through various educational programs and training programs to ensure that the academic fraternity is aware about the unethical practices in research. And finally, obviously, to develop mechanisms so that we can detect these kinds of plagiarism approaches, right? We can detect plagiarism and take appropriate, even after knowing people are still committing the same thing, right? Accordingly, they should be appropriate actions should be taken. So with this objectives only, UGC Plagiarism Regulations was introduced, right? So similarity checks, right? When you come to similarity checks, what and all is excluded out of this plagiarism thing, right? All quoted work we produced with necessary permission, these things will not constitute form of plagiarism, right? Say for example, if you feel, sir, I have no other choice, I have to take an entire sentence from that, then put it in a double quotation, well and good, and give the citation also. All references, bibliography, table of contents, preface, acknowledgements, they are also kept out of plagiarism preview. Generic terms, laws, standard symbols, standard equations, these are also again kept out of preview of plagiarism, like the law of demand, Indian Contract Act, right? Then sale of goods like this and all we cannot rewrite. So those things are also again kept outside the preview of the plagiarism. So apart from these things, if you are going to comment any copied work, it will constitute the plagiarism, right? Okay. So what are the different levels of plagiarism? Right, different levels of plagiarism. We have 0 level, 1, 2, 3, 4 different levels. Right, level 0 is nothing but similarities which is acceptable up to 10%. So if your similarity is going to be up to 10%, then we do not have any sort of problem with the plagiarism, right? It is considered acceptable if it is going to be up to 10%. Say for example, your similarity is going to be between more than 10 and between 10 to 40%. It means you are going to commit a level 1 plagiarism. Then say for example, if your similarities are going to cross 40 to 60%, then you are going to, it means you are committing level 2 plagiarism. And say for example, if your plagiarism level crosses more than 60%, it constitutes level 3 plagiarism, right? It constitutes level 3 plagiarism as well. So what are the penalties which are applicable for plagiarism if it's going to happen in case of thesis or dissertations? If your thesis or dissertations has similarities up to 10%, it is considered as minor similarities, so which is 0 level plagiarism. So no penalties for you, it is considered as minor similarities, it is acceptable. Say for example, your plagiarism level is between 11 to 40%, then such student may be asked to submit a revised manuscript within a stipulated time, not more than 6 months. Within 6 months, he has to submit a revised copy for the plagiarism. So for the thesis, you have to resubmit the thesis. And say for example, your plagiarism crosses above 40%, but it's still within 16%. It is quite considered as a serious problem. Then in that case, that particular student may be debarred from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. Only after 1 year, he can again allow for submission. Say for example, if his plagiarism or if his similarities is crossing 60%, then the registration for that particular PhD programs can be cancelled as well. So what is the penalty on repeated plagiarism? We saw previously after 6 months we can submit, after 1 year we can submit, right? If even after 6 months, even after 1 month, still is plagiarism is keeping on increasing, right? Still is plagiarism keeps on increasing one by one. Then what could be the highest level of punishment that can be operative, and that concerned institutions will decide. The concerned institution can decide about what could be the highest level of punishment that could be given for a repeated plagiarism. Right? Say for example, where the degree is already obtained. Right? After obtaining the degree, it is found, right? Is the work is say for example, it is a copied work, it is a plagiarized work, right? Then the degree which has been provided can be withdrawn, right? The doctoral degree which has been provided to the candidate can also be withdrawn, provided, because every institution they must have something called as IAIP. What is IAIP? Is nothing but Institutional Academic Integrity Panel, right? And based on the recommendation of this Institutional Academic Integrity Panel, right, this plagiar, if they recommend to reverse back the degree offered based on the approval by the head of the institution, the degree can also be withdrawn. So this is all with regard to the thesis or the dissertations. Say for example, if the plagiarism is going to happen in the form of, right, say for example, if the plagiarism is going to happen in the research, academic and research publications, right? Same logic, up to 10% similarity, no penalty. About 10% to 40%, they may be asked to withdraw the manuscript, right? The concerned editor of the journal, he may just like that reject the manuscript, or he may also withdraw the manuscript. If it is going to be above 40 to 40%, but it's within 60%, right? Such faculty member may be asked to withdraw the manuscript. Annual increment which has been given could be cut off, right? He should not be, he or she should not be allowed to be a supervisor for any master's program or even an MPhil or PhD program for a period of 2 years. For a period of 2 years, such faculty member should be should not be allowed to supervise any research candidate. Either it could be at a master level or a MPhil level or at the PhD level. Right? If it is going to be above 60%, 2 successive, as usual, withdrawal of manuscript is common. Apart from that, 2 successive annual increments may be denied, as well as he or she should not be allowed to guide any candidates at master level or PhD level or at the MPhil level for a period of 3 years. Right? So this is with regard to academic and research publications. Again, right, say for example, the same thing is again repeating in this case. The highest level of punishment could be decided by the concerned institution. They can go for disciplinary action, they can go for suspension, they can go for termination of that particular faculty member. Based on, it's all again all left to the concerned higher education institution to decide on the repeated plagiarism. Say for example, I have already obtained the credit, right? I have already obtained the benefit, I have already obtained the credit, right? Then again the same thing, the same benefits which has been issued to the respondents could also be withdrawn or taken back. Just like how the reversal of degree happens, reversal of benefits can also. So how this basically system works, right? At the department level, you should have something called as Departmental Academic Integrity Panel. It's not like first right away you go to IAIP. at the department level, you can try to sort it out first, right? At first, the matter will be investigated at the departmental level. This department academic integrity panel, it will investigate the matter and it will submit its recommendation to the institutional academic integrity panel. Right, based on the recommendations which is given by departmental academic integrity panel, an act of plagiarism, the AFGDG institutions can take appropriate actions, right? And the investigation will again be carried out by IAAP and their recommendations will be further implemented. So how can we avoid these kinds of plagiarism? Very simple rules, write it on your own. First, it is very important for every one of us to understand what constitutes plagiarism and what does not constitute plagiarism. Academic community must be aware about these things, right? What is the rules regarding copyrights? So whenever you do, that's why again now today you find IPRs are now being talk of the town, right? So protect your work in some way or the other. You protect it either in the form of copyright or you protect it in the form of a patent, right? So that will help you in protecting your work. Properly cite the references, learn reference management, whether there is a software or not a software. We should know how, we should know, even if there is no software, if you are asked to write a reference in API style, you should know that, right? Learn how to paraphrase, right? Learn how to paraphrase. You do learn how to do ethical paraphrasing. Keep reviewing. Review once, review twice. Don't go for hurried publication. Hurried publication is always a buried publication, right? As well as delayed publication is also and denied publication. Both are there, right? So you should, as academic fraternity, you should know how long you can retain the manuscript, because you cannot publish it too fast. At the same time, you cannot publish it too late also. So in that case, what will happen? If you are going to take, say for example, if you are going to publish it too late, the essence of your research might lose its significance. That problem. At the same time, you cannot fast doing publication also. It means the rigorous peer review process, it's going to get violated. So you should also keep that one, but you can keep reviewing, right? Maximum 1 year is fine. More than 1 year, you cannot wait for the research article to publish, right? So take advantage of your professor's knowledge, right? Take advantage of your research supervisor, and they are very much experienced, right? They have crossed these kinds of issues, right? That's why we call them as research supervisor. We call them as mentors, right? So obviously you can take their help in dealing with these kinds of plagiarism issues as well. So these are some of the free tools that we are going to see. But of course, since our topic is quite restricted to Turnitin, right? We will go again with it. But these are some of the small free tools. But the plagiarism level shown by the free tools is comparatively different from the plagiarism which is shown from Turnitin. Say for example, if you are using a free tool, plagiarism tool, like what is mentioned here, like small SEO tools or plagiarism tracker, flag scan, if it shows you 0%, in Turnitin it might show 15% or 20%. So that variation will always be there. So these are some of the references. So this is a basic introduction which I would like to give you all. Don't think the session is over. Don't think the session. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Perfect. Fine. Yeah. So this is the small basic idea, because we need to know all these things before we actually proceed with the software. So I will stop this screen sharing now, and I will take you to Turnitin, before which I will try to log in. Right, I will try to log in through this, and then we will decide further what could be done. Just thing, because I heard few days back that the Turnitin is facing some sort of issues. I guess it is rectified by now. They themselves provided in the website that they are facing some maintenance. So let me check out that if it is there. Okay, just give me a minute. I'll just share my screen once I log into the Turnitin account.
Okay, sir.
Once that is done, I guess it is working. Yes, it's perfectly working. Yeah. So let me share the screen. Right. Yes. See, kindly listen. I guess you can see the plagiarism, Turnitin software which has been logged in. This is actually a shared account. Some of my, I just got it from some of my international friends, right, for this login. But before that, I would like to show you something else also. So basically in Turnitin, we have two things. One, you have a student account. Another one, you have something called as an instructor account. Right? You have something called as a student account, plus you have something called as an instructor account. So instructor account is something which the libraries will have. Your university library. Don't think you will get the plagiarism thing. Right? Basically, actually, I hired this account from one of my international friends because sir personally requested me to show it on live how to use plagiarism software. So I just requested some of my international friends for hire and they just gave me, and that is the thing. Otherwise, you should always approach your university library. That's where the role of library comes in. Library is the only place through which you can always access these accounts. Right? See, you need to keep a few things in mind. Right? You need to keep a few things in mind. One is the apart from 3 exemptions which I told you, there is also another exemption which UGC law talks about. Right? It says up to 14 consecutive words. Right? You can up to 14 consecutive words. It is available. So see, so as people, we do not have access to Turnitin, so we have to rely upon the free tools. But instead of relying on free tools, better approach your library or the librarian. Right? They can help you in finding out the plagiarism. That would be better. So before you check for plagiarism, the main precaution that has to be kept in mind, right? The main precaution that has to be kept in mind is the settings, right? It's the settings. Say for example, I'm just going I'm just going to click on edit settings. So usually this is the normal page which will come to you when you log in an instructor account. So you can give the title, what title you are going to give for plagiarism check. So I have just given as plagiarism check. Right? How long you want this assignment to be open? You can specify the dates here, right, for your assignments. Right? You can specify the dates for your assignment. If you want to keep it for 2 days, 3 days open, right? Every time you have to assign classes and then only you have to check further. So there you can keep the start date, end date, post date, all these things. Right? Then you have something called as allow only file types the Turnitin can check for similarity, or if you want to allow any sort of type of file, you can always do that. So it is up to this. You can also set the timings also, no issues. Then here only you have something called as optional settings. If you want to give any specific instruction, you can specify those instructions here, but obviously this is not required as of now. See here you have specified something, the start date and end date for submission of this paper assignments. If you say, sir, even after the due date, I want people to, no problem, people can still submit it can still go for plagiarism check. You can keep this option as yes. Allow submissions after the due date. You can keep this as yes. This is the most important part. Would you like to generate similarity reports? Yes, we need to get similarity reports for our submission, right? We need to get similarity reports for my submission. You can keep this report as yes. So whatever the first report is that final, or say for example, students can submit multiple times and you want to keep, if you are allowing overwriting of report is allowed until due dates, it's all again up to the university institutions regulations to decide on all these things. Or say for example, the Turnitin report which is generated on this due date is alone considered as final. So you have three options here. When I'm going to submit now and immediately I get the report, that is considered as final. Or until due date, I'm going to submit 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. The latest one will be considered due date. This is the second aspect. Or third aspect, what is the report that the software generates on the exactly due date, right? So that is considered as a on due date. That will be considered as a final. Now, this is where our UGC regulation norms comes into the picture. We already discussed in our PowerPoint slide, right? We already discussed in our PowerPoint slide that we can exclude generic terms, laws, bibliographic references, all those things. So if you like to exclude those, because it is allowed as per the UGC regulations, you can exclude bibliographic materials from a similarity index. So if you are keeping this at no, right? If you are keeping this option as no, then even your references can constitute part of plagiarism. Your bibliography will also be highlighted as plagiarism. So before you proceed with checking of plagiarism, keep this as a yes. Keep this option yes. Okay. If you keep this no, even your references will show plagiarism. References, every APA style means I should also cite the same way, you should also write the same way, right? So you can keep this option as yes. Exclude quoted materials from similarity index for all papers in this assignment. That should also, you should keep it as yes. Alright, that one also you should keep it as yes. You should not keep it as no, because in plagiarism, that is also constituting a form of, it is also exempted. Quoted works are also exempted from plagiarism as per the university guidelines. Then exclude small sources. This is where you have to keep in mind, right? Here you have to keep, as per UGC regulation, 14 consecutive terms are allowed. So you can keep like 14 words. Word count, you can keep it like 14 words. I hope some universities also follow 10, right? But as per what UGC law says, it gives you a permission of giving up to 14 words. So you have to set this option as yes and keep this as 14 words. Or if you want to express it in the form of a percentage, you can give up to 1%. Right? You can give up to 1%. You cannot give it like more than 1%. See, this is an interesting scenario which we came across practically when we were doing while we were working with our conference work, basically. Right? What we were trying to do, right? We received some paper where it showed Turnitin report, right? It showed 0% plagiarism. I guess, but I was not part of that committee and all. But one of my well-known friend, he was part of that committee, and we asked the participants to generate plagiarism report and asked them to give. Right at that time, what was happening? I think that my own friend, he received a report with 0%. And I was sitting next to him, I was doing some other work and he called me. Sir, we got one plagiarism report, Turnitin, which shows 0%. Right, he showed something shows 0%. Yes, he showed that as 0%. How is this possible, sir? Then we take, I just asked him to show the Turnitin report. And unfortunately, what has happened, that person, he has kept this percentage instead of 1%, he has kept it as 37%. Right, he has kept this percentage as 37% because the plagiarism Turnitin software shows 37%. And this person, happily, what he has done, he has kept this thing, right? He has come here. This is allowed up to only 1%, not more than that. He has kept this person, instead of he has kept this 37, so it has shown 0. Then we noticed that, and I said, this is I don't know whether the person intentionally did or unintentionally did, but it is critically wrong. You send them play. So please do not misuse this thing. Whatever you do, Turnitin will tell you. Whatever you things that you do, Turnitin will tell you. Even if you say word count as 14 words, it will show 14 counts is excluded. It will show excluded bibliometric was kept as on. Portal material is kept as on. Right? Word percentage, it could be either 1% or 37%. Right? You cannot you cannot keep it like 37% at all. So such kind of a thing, you should keep yourself away. Right? You should keep yourself away. Such malpractice. This is what we call it as disguised plagiarism. Right? You misuse the software. So if you would you like to allow the students to see the similarity report, you can keep it as yes. If you have a predetermined assignment template which is there, you can upload that template. Otherwise, these and all not mandatory. This is the another important thing. Say for example, you say, sir, I have just completed my rough draft. I just wanted to check my plagiarism. It's not a final thing. I just wanted to check and identify the plagiarism, and then I want to adjust that. In that case, this should always be kept as no repository. By mistake, if you have kept this and you have conducted plagiarism and it is coming 20%, means that's all. Your chapter is over because your paper will be added to the repository. It will be added to the repository. Once you adjust and re-upload, it will show you 100% plagiarism. So if you are going to keep yourself to just for checking, sir, I want to just check and I wanted to know, right? I just wanted to know what is the plagiarism level so that I can modify. Then you keep this no repository. If you keep standard repository, that's all. One time you upload, it will add it to its repository. Right, so please be careful because again it will be a very difficult task. Right, sometimes people will do that. Then in that case, what you can do? Now you can ask me, sir, what I can do? Right, sir, what I can do if I am going to by mistake I have kept that and it is showing again 100%, 90%. What we have to do? You have to approach your university librarian. Request them, sir, by mistake I have done like this because. They have to write a mail, I think, to the Turnitin, and Turnitin will take appropriate steps to remove it in another couple of days based on the request. But it has to come through only the institution library because Turnitin partner only with institutional libraries. Okay, through institutional library, it provides individual accounts to the faculty members and the research scholars. Okay, so that is the thing. So you have to keep these points in mind. So this is a very crucial area. Otherwise, what will happen? Next time when you upload, it will show 100% plagiarism. It will definitely show 100% plagiarism. So what are all the areas you want the software to search? Right? This and all you should keep it as the same thing. Right? If you please be careful in this area, especially make sure just no repository. But when you are going for final check, it has to be standard paper repository. Until such time, no problem. Okay, so if you want to grade this assignment, you can grade this, you can launch a rubric. I don't want to teach you rubric and all, it is part form of the education department, right? Teacher learning center or education, it's their role to teach rubric, how to construct rubrics, all those things. Because construction of rubrics can also be in separate workshop. If you would like to learn, if you find any workshop, if you come across any workshop with the title outcome based education, there they will teach you how to do a rubric, how to construct a rubric, all those things. But here we will not do that. If you want to even check grammar checking, you can use this. You can keep this as yes, otherwise you can keep it as no. So after doing all these things, just scroll down and just click submit. And if you want to retain the same settings for your future plagiarism check activities also, right? For future plagiarism check activities also, you can keep this, you can click this option. So for further things, for further upcoming checks also, this will work out better, right? So this is the main aspect which you need to keep in while looking for plagiarism check. So let me come back to the home page, assignments page. So this is the area where we used to submit the assignment. So let me take any one research paper. What research paper I can take? Research paper. I'll take any one research paper. Research paper on artificial intelligence. Okay. Research paper on artificial intelligence. PDF. I'll put PDF. Right, I'll put PDF. Okay. Fine. So I'll just download the file. I just download the file. Just trying to download. Let us wait for it to get downloaded. Download is in progress, so it is downloaded successfully. Right? It is an already published article, so which means it will show plagiarism. Right? So you can click on assign and click submit. You can give whatever name. So I'm just going to give plagiarism. AI. Right? I guess I have kept it in no repository. Choose from this computer. Upload your file. Upload your file. And click upload. And it will get uploaded. Right? It will get uploaded. So make sure it shows the file you added. It will not be added to any repository. So once it is added, Turnitin software will process your thing. So here what you have to do, you just click confirm. You just click confirm. And I think you will get yes. Right? You will get a confirmation. Congratulations. Right? Your submission is complete. This is your digital receipt. So this you need to keep it. This ID is very much important. Why this ID is very much important? Say for example, as I started earlier, right? As I started earlier, you are telling, sir, unfortunately I kept repositories open. Right? In that case, what you can do, librarians, they will ask you for the submission ID, because when they write a mail to Turnitin, they should mention this submission ID. Only then the Turnitin team will look into, they will be easily able to trace the submission ID and take appropriate steps to remove this file from your repository. So that's why it says you can take a print without anything. It doesn't say. So it tells you right here, take a print. This is a digital copy of the print. You can take a print. Right? You can press Ctrl P and take a print. Once that is done, right? Once that is done, you can click go to assignment box. You can click go to assignment box. And what is the similarity that you find here? What is the similarity that you find here? What is the similarity percentage that you find here?
Actually, they are all good, sir. So you just can.
Yes,
Yeah.
96. Because we know it is much expected only, right? 96. Because it is already in published version, right? So there is nothing now, right? So this is the thing. So now what you can do, you can click on this 96%. It will take you through a plagiarism report, right? It will take you to a plagiarism report. Let me stop sharing and take you to that report. Right? Let me take you through that report. Right? So yes, I guess you can see the plagiarism report. Can you all see that?
No, sir.
No. Okay, fine. Let me just a second. Just a second. I'll do. Okay. Okay, where is, yeah, now I have shared. Let us wait for it to share. Maybe because of network issue, it is coming little late. I hope now, I guess it is available on your screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? So this is your plagiarism report. And it shows everything is shown as plagiarism because this is already published, right? Because this is a published one, it shows everything as plagiarism. And you can click on here, and this, right? This you can click this option to see. Let us wait. Server is down. Some problem. Let us wait. Some problem. Some problem with the Turnitin's thing, because they told last few weeks server was in a problem. Okay, okay. Yes, now I guess you could see 96% coming. Can you see a match overview coming? Can you see a match overview coming?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this here basically it will show you the list of sources where actually these documents were found. And what do you find? What is an interesting aspect that you find on the screen? What is an interesting aspect that you find on the screen? Yes? Do you find the references highlighted? Do you find the references highlighted in red color? Yes. Yes, references, they are not highlighted in red color because we kept already, right? As per UGC regulation, bibliographical works are excluded, right? So that's why, since we kept that option as yes, it does not show any plagiarism over there. That 4% reduction is because of this references only. Otherwise, it would have shown 100% plagiarism, right? So now, what is your role, right? What is your role is, but since we take this from entire one thing, it shows only one source. But when you logically upload your manuscript, it will show multiple responses. So what you have to do, you have to trace each of these responses and bring them under the in-text citations. Right? You have to bring, you can locate the sources here. Like here it is showing just only one. But when you actually submit, it will show 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all those things. So what you have to do, you can actually go to that link also. See here, I'm just clicking on this. I'm just clicking on this, right? And say for example, if I click this one, it will take you submitted to Deakin University, right? So if you click on this, it will take you to that page. Actually, it will take you through that page actually. So you can locate those references and add in the syntax citations, put them in the proper set, rewrite, and then put them in a proper way inside the thing, and then you can again run the plagiarism check. So once you find it, you definitely find there is a difference in the level of similarity that it will show. Right? Say for example, you want to download the similarity report. You can click on this download option. It will also ask you current view or digital receipt or original submitted file. You click current view. You click current view, and your software will be downloaded. Your software will be, sorry, not software, your file, your similarity report will get downloaded. Your similarity report will get downloaded. Right? So now it's got downloaded. So let me stop the screen sharing and let me show you the plagiarism report. Alright, let me show you the plagiarism report. Alright, so just give me 1 minute. Let me give you 1 minute. Okay, fine. I guess we got it. Yes. So I'm sharing. Please wait. It will take some time to share. Again, I'm sharing. Can you all see plagiarism report?
No, sir.
Wait, it is yet to share. I guess some trouble with the. It's an international software. Alright. I think it is
Now it is visible, sir.
now it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So you can see, you can go to the last aspect and see. It will show. This is called as your similarity or originality. Right? 95% is from internet sources. And see, here it will show. Exclude quotes was kept on, exclude bibliography was kept on, matches 11 words we have kept. Instead of 14, 11 words. Okay, no problem. Alright, so this is the similarity report. And how you can do this thing, here it is just one source, it is showing 96%. But what you can do, you can check out for the sources. First, you try to, whichever comes the highest percentage, first thing, you need to locate the source, bring them a syntax citation and bring them back in the references. Right? And there are so many, today we know there are so many softwares which are available for paraphrasing. Right, or you yourself can paraphrase, but only thing you should give this reference. Right, for those who say, sir, I started writing pieces long back, I don't know the references. One way you can locate your references through this. Right, it shows you from where it has been copied actually. The repository of Deduction is quite so vast. Right, it is very much vast. So you can always go about that and you can check out that. Right. So this is what how the Turnitin works. How Turnitin works, I already showed you in my PowerPoint presentation. Intrinsic approach, extrinsic approach, all those things. So don't look out for software, madam. Better write it on your own words. Right. Better write it on your own words. That is far better compared to the thing that you are instead of locating out for software. Right? So this is the plagiarism thing. And one thing which you can also do, but you should always consult your university for that. Sometimes when we do data analysis, right, your output terms could also be saved. For example, ANOVA means it will show homogeneity of variances, Levin's test, everything it will show. Those terms again you cannot rewrite. Right? ANOVA you cannot rewrite. Between groups you cannot rewrite. Within groups you cannot rewrite. But when you are just taking that same output and if you are presenting it in your thesis, and it might show plagiarism, it will show plagiarism. Definitely you have done it. In that case, what you can do, right? In that case, what you can do, you can always go for this exclude source, right? You find, say for example, this is the source. Artificial intelligence, I cannot rewrite. Artificial intelligence means artificial intelligence only. You can click this exclude source. You can click this exclude source and click it. But this is subject to the approval of your university only. If your says no means no. If it is no means it is always no. But these things you cannot rewrite. Artificial intelligence and all you cannot rewrite. ANOVA you cannot rewrite. Right? ANOVA you cannot rewrite. Test of homogeneity of variance you cannot rewrite. Right? Then what else is there? Correlation you cannot rewrite. Regression you need not rewrite. Dubbing Watson value you cannot rewrite. So in those cases, it could be well considered. Right? It could be considered for the universities to exclude those kinds of terms because common generic terms provision is not there in Turnitin. That is the problem. So that is one such thing. Otherwise, you can always yeah, I have not shared my screen. Please do not panic. I have stopped my screen sharing. I was just literally sharing my thoughts with you. No worries, I am not sharing my screen. Alright, so this is one such thing which is there. And what else we have to see in Turnitin? Yes, I think this is what is the thing which is so many things are there in Turnitin. Not all is required and not everything should also be shown. Right, then there are chances technical disguise can also happen. Right, so but there are also some people, you people are asking whether it is advisable to use free plagiarism tools. Initially you can use, but recent problems that which I came across with many people telling to me is that even if you upload yes, right, even if you upload in free softwares, sometimes it is showing plagiarism. Even in some sometimes it is showing plagiarism. Initially, yes, we have a few free tools. One which I would always recommend, I think those websites also nowadays they have come well ahead. Right, I will take you, just give me 1 minute, I will show some free plagiarism tools also. But it is good if your university has got access to Turnitin or Urkund also fine. Right, because today UGC accepts both Turnitin as well as Urkund. Right, so no problem with regard to that. But this is the thing which you have to keep well in mind when you are working with your plagiarism. Just a minute, there is a small problem with my, it has got stuck. Just give me a minute. Yes. Yes, let me share. Yes, now I hope. See, this is one. There are so many tools, but this is the one which I will show you. Small SEO tools. Right? This is a free plagiarism thing which we have for our. Is my Google screen is visible? Right?
Presentation, yeah, it
My
is.
Google screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
It's visible, right? Then it's relevant. Okay, fine. So this is one free site. It will also rewrite, right? You have a plagiarism checker, article rewriter. You can copy paste your text here and check plagiarism and rewrite it also. But the only thing is, since this is a free tool, if you get 0% in plagiarism, you will in eternity you might get somewhat between 12 to 20%, right? Somewhere between 12 to 20%. Here, if it is going to show you 0, and here, if you are going to get it as 0, means there you will get 12 to 20% as plagiarism. You can either upload the entire manuscript, or if it is a free search, it is limited only to 1,000 words, which means every time you have to copy paste 1,000 words and check the output. And you can always look out for some other things for a free plagiarism tool. Right, so this is for an initial check. Not everybody can access, turn it in, open, all those things. So in that way, better approach in university library. Library serves a precise purpose over there. Right, that's where today the rule of libraries are changing. Libraries, I really admire the contribution made by libraries. Right, in this aspect, right? And even today, if you've seen today, this even FTP is taken, it's the responsibility of this FTP is taken care by, responsibility of this thing is again taken by the Department of Library Science. So library science, they play a very crucial role. They can be a backbone or a pillar of support for researchers, academicians, and faculty members in carrying out their research activities, right? So you can always use this platform. There are many things, but what we use is this one. Basically, this was quite popular for the past, if I'm right, for the past 10 years. This site was very quite popular with regard to the plagiarism shift. I have seen basically how the site is growing. When I was checking 5 to 6 years back, it has only something called as plagiarism check. Right? It does not have article rewriter. It does not have grammar check. It does not have reverse image search, logo maker, IP address. These things and all, it was not at all there. But now, the times change. As the times change, right? New things comes up. You need to get updated, right? So in that manner, the site is updated. Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Yeah, I request all of you to mute yourself. Madam,
Sorry?
can you please mute yourself?
Sorry.
Yeah, Anju madam, can you please mute yourself?
I am muted. No issues. Right. So you can.
Yes, sir. You can proceed, sir.
So you can proceed with further this site, right? But again, I would say don't go put your thesis in free plagiarism softwares and polish your. Take the advantage of the university library. I know some colleges may be a very small college. They may not have what to say. They may not have their libraries may not have the donation subscription, but your college might be affiliated to either a state university, all those things. In that case, you can always approach the concerned state university, request them to seek their help and find out what could be the possibility. Right? So there are, of course, there are softwares. There is some software, something called as article spinner. Some people were asking about paraphrasing. Right? There is some software called as article spinner, I guess. Okay, right. Right, there is some software called as, there is I think that is also a paid one, it's not a free one, it's a paid article spinner. Implementation. That is one tool which you can use for paraphrasing, right? Article spinner. Right. A article spinner. Article spinner. See, I think it's free again, but not all features are free. Certain things, these are some of the free tools. A few things which I would like to suggest. You can use this one for your, if some of you are looking for paraphrasing for an online tool, article spinner can be a good option. Alright, for you, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yeah. So input text is the place where you paste your. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So input text is the place where you can copy your text, right? And once you paraphrase, the output text will come. So this is a free article spinner which you can keep in mind, right? You can spin the text and you can rewrite these kinds of things, right? So this is what I would like to suggest today. So I think I am completing just 5 minutes ahead of time, but if you have any questions, you can always ask me. They will be ready to help you all in this regard. Right, but if you want to minimize the plagiarism, it is a combo of reference management, ethical paraphrase. So ethical paraphrasing plus reference management can help you in minimizing your plagiarism. So this is what I would like to share for today's discussion. I hope I have done justice for the topics that has been given today. If you have still any more doubts, we have another 15 to 20 minutes time. You can always raise your queries. I will be very much happy to answer all of your queries. Right, I will be very much happy to answer all your queries. Yes, paraphrasing, I could see a message coming up. Right? Yeah, I could see a message. Right, sir. If paraphrase the text with paraphrasing tool with proper giving citation is considerable. Yes. When you paraphrase with proper citation, it is an ethical paraphrasing. It is well and good as well. It is quite so good also. It is always good if you do the paraphrasing with proper citation. Workcode is preferred in many universities. Are there any free software similar to its effectiveness? To be honest, no. I do know Workcode is preferred because of, I think it comes from UGC. UGC also says you can either use Turnitin or, so which means it is left to us to decide which one. Right, so whichever is, both are good, right? Because UGC recognizes both, Workcode and Turnitin, both are recognized. Thank you for the feedback. Do you have any more questions? Or I'll scroll through the chat box if there is any question. Let me try to answer those things also. Right? Okay. What is the difference between a Turnitin and open in terms of effectiveness? I guess this is some of the feedback which I have received from even the my own core scholars who are working in other universities. When they get the work on says 10%, in Turnitin it is showing 15% or 20%, which means I feel Turnitin has a much more wider coverage of its repository and maybe quite so stringent, very strict officer, Turnitin, right? Because this is what I heard. I do remember this one of the co-scholar telling me, sir, I checked with the Yurkun, it was showing me 12%, the same thing when I was checking with the your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking. Yes. So I think it has more wider coverage. One, the it's still disturbing. You can put it in the chat. One, the paraphrasing in government elections, and still it is showing some plagiarism. What is the reason? Which means you would have not properly cited it, sir. You have done paraphrasing, but still idea is not yours. It is somebody else's idea. So which means you should trace the origin of the source and cite it also. Then definitely it will not show you plagiarism. Sir, there are so many I said about plagiarism. Sir, there are so email that I receive about paid plagiarism. How much does it really cost? I think it is concerned with the concerned people. Those who have access to Turnitin, they will have to decide the price. Yes, data will be captured if you use. Yes, of course, there are chances that your data will be captured if you use plagiarism software. That's why I say your thesis or your you don't use free plagiarism tools, right? If small SEO tools, if it shows 0%, in Turnitin it can show 12 to 20%. It's all because Turnitin repository coverage is vast. It's basically because the Turnitin repository coverage is quite so vast. That is the reason.
Good evening, Gautam sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
So I'm the principal of Host College IAMC.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A really wonderful presentation of this plagiarism.
Thank
definitely,
you, sir.
Majority of the listeners definitely they take advantage of your lecture.
Thank you, sir.
Basically, the way you have covered the entire proceeding really wonderful.
Yeah.
And how to avoid plagiarism, penalties of misuse of plagiarism, and working of Turnitin software. Really, they help the researchers, especially when they present their papers, when they send their papers for publishing. A wonderful show, sir. Really, we express our sincere gratitude to you for giving a wonderful lecture on plagiarism.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I also thank you, sir, for taking your time and unmuting and recognizing the work. I was really happy, and thank you to you also.
And sorry, I could not make it on time, but later, due to some prior appointment, I could not join on time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thanks to all the participants who are continuously listing your feedbacks. I was really happy to see all those feedback that you people, it helped you a lot in gaining insights. So I was really happy. Thank you. Thank you. Which I feel really satisfied that I met your expectations.
Sir Gautam sir, there is
Pavitra madam, your voice is breaking, madam.
Gautam sir.
So tomorrow also we have session, the feedback, other things will be shared tomorrow. Most probably the same link will be used tomorrow session also.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Gautam sir, am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Sir, I just want to say that the session is very exciting and informative. Thank you, sir. That was a wonderful session, but I have a small doubt.
Yes, madam.
Sir, once the content was paraphrased, the plagiarism has been reduced to some extent, sir. But why couldn't be like, it is from 94% to 43% it was reduced to. Even though I have done some grammar checkup and I have write my own sentences, even though it is showing some 20 to 30% of plagiarism. You said you have to...
in-text citations also, madam. I will check the citations aspect. Is it cited in the proper format?
Sir, can you please give an example for that citation? In which format, like how we need to display
There
it?
are different types of citation styles. Basically, we have something called as APA style, MLA style, IEEE format, Harvard format, so many different Chicago format, right? And say for example, normally social sciences and humanities used to follow APA format style of referencing. Maybe if that any data is missing, the software may not be able to capture the right proper source of reference. So maybe because of that, still plagiarism will be quite so it might be showing. So check your university because if you take the certain universities, they ask people to follow APA style. Our university asks us to follow IEEE style. So basically,
Sorry for the interruption. Swati ma'am, kindly mute your audio so that it be audible for us.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, kindly mute your audio, ma'am, so that what Gautam sir is saying will be heard by all of us.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
yes, madam. Basically, there are different kinds of citation styles. Right, we have something called as APA style. Normally in management, commerce and all, we used to follow the APA style. Right, I think now it has come to 7th edition or 8th edition APA style. We have something called as MLA style. We have something called as IEEE style. We have Chicago style. We have Harvard style. So many reference styles are there. Kindly cross-check also whether references are properly cited. It should be cited inside the text as well as it should be cited at the bibliography. Both should be there. What I have seen, people give the references at the end. In bibliography, they are adding, but inside the in-text citation, they are not giving. So maybe that is the reason where you are that even after paraphrasing, doing grammar check and all, still it is 40 or 43%.
Yes, sir, you are right. Actually, I have included all those things in the references, but I thought I have to include in the text also. Right?
In text also.
Okay, sir. Thank you
Because
so much.
what the software will do, when you put something Gautam 2018, right, in references, it will try to search inside the text where the author has mentioned Gautam 2018. So if these two are matching, it will the similarity.
Okay, sir. So inside the text, we have to give the reference number, and the same number has to put it in the references also.
No, that's why I say if you follow an IEEE format, you just one. That's it. Inside the text, I'm telling you. Okay, but if it is an APA style, it will show Gautam, 2018. That's all within brackets.
Okay,
So
sir.
it depends upon the style. I think.
Oh, Sneha madam, Kadam, please mute.
I request all of you kindly mute yourself. One by one you can ask. See, one by one you can ask, otherwise it is very difficult for us to crack the doubts here.
लेकिन आप ये नहीं जानते कि कभी कभी अपने बारे में सोचना अच्छा होता है। मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आज पहली बार
Madam, can you please mute yourself? Nujhat madam, please mute yourself. It is very difficult, madam, otherwise.
हमारी शादी में सब खुश रहे जो हमारे लिए खुशी चाहते हैं वो भी है जो नहीं चाहते वो भी
चाहते हो।
Now is it okay?
कभी दूसरों को उनके हाथ पे छोड़ देना ही
Some TV serial is going, sir.
TV series is
कि जिसने जो बोया है।
Yeah, I think Dr. Nujhat madam, can you please mute yourself?
सुनकर अच्छा लगा।
Sir, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
My name is Srinivas Kulkarni. I'm from VJIT. Sir, let me know about abstract, sir. Abstract, how to modify or how to write.
Modify the abstract. Sir, abstract, no. See, it's a very good question. I have encountered two different situations with regard to abstract. Right? One journal which was telling me, no problem, even though if it is an abstract, you do citation there. Okay. Even though it is an abstract, you give in-text citation. I have got one such feedback from one journal. Another kind of a situation which I have faced is you cannot do in-text citation. In that case, you just have to write the abstract in your own words, even if it shows plagiarism. You don't need to bother because up to 10% it is allowed. So maybe that could be something.
887034. The software works on abstract also.
Sorry?
Is this software works on abstract also?
Everything it works. Everything it works.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, any more doubts? See, whenever you are asking the queries, kindly mute yourself. Yes, madam. Yeah, madam, please.
And your side noise is very high.
I think, madam, you are having so much of noise. Madam, otherwise you can put in the chat box, madam. You can mute yourself and you can put in the chat box. Yeah, thank you so much, madam. And any more doubts you are having apart from Snehi, madam?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
My name is Ajay Kumar. I'm from Vijayanagar College of Commerce, sir. Firstly, I congratulate, sir. It's a very good presentation, and the inputs which you gave us, it definitely helps us, sir. And my question is regarding with as you were talking about the paraphrasing. So, is there any open access, sir, for paraphrasing? Is available?
That's what I showed one, no article spinner. It is nothing but a paraphrasing tool only. Hello.
Yeah, Sneha Devi, madam, with regard to citations, tomorrow we are going to discuss, madam. how to increase and all. Tomorrow the session will be totally about author identifiers only. So don't worry about that. Yeah. Yeah. Madam, kindly post in the chat box. Madam, there is a disturbance from your end. Kindly post in the chat box. The feedback form will be given tomorrow only, not today. Today is only exclusively for getting the session and all. Tomorrow after the session, we'll be circulating the feedback in the chat box. Don't worry about that. And tomorrow we will be having the session on author identifiers. So here we will be discussing about the various author identifiers IDs like ORCID ID, ResearchGate ID, Researcher ID, then Web of Science ID, and all these IDs how to create and how to use for your research. And with this type of IDs, how to improvise your research publications and collaborations. And also we are going to discuss about the citations, how to know your own citations and how to increase your citations. So these things we are going to discuss tomorrow. I hope all your doubts are cleared. And I think today is an excellent day. Gautam sir has made the day a very knowledgeable and a very great session for all of us, informative session for all of us. Yeah. So if there are no doubts, means we can wind up the session and we will meet tomorrow at 6 p.m. The same link. There is no change. There is no change here. There is no change here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So much,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all. See you. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.
Whether my voice is audible?
Organized, very good.
Yes, madam. Tell me, madam.
Very good.
Actually, I'm going to ask you only one thing, sir. The session is too useful one. Can we get the PPT of SAR's presentation, sir?
Madam, PPT, with regard to PPT, if resource person has agreed for that, definitely we will share it.
Okay, sir. Please ask him, and if it is possible, please.
We will discuss. Madam.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Charlotte from St. Saviour's College, sir.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, very good, well organized and very good resource person. They clarify all the doubts in an excellent manner. Hope tomorrow's session will be much more wonderful than today.
Sure, madam.
Thank you so much for organizing such programs so that we as professors can train our research scholars in a good manner also. Thank you, sir.
Definitely, madam. Thank you so much for your nice words, madam. Yeah. So have a great evening and good night, all of you. We'll meet tomorrow at 6 o'clock with the same link. We will discuss about other identifiers. Gautam sir, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.